Madam Speaker, Cyclone Winston is the first Category 5 to hit Fiji. And before that, we had Cyclone Ula. And of course, Zina came our way as well. That gives us a very strong message about the vulnerability and the severity of what's coming our way. I should also mention, Madam Speaker, that we have never been stretched to such an extent, probably in as far as disaster response is concerned. A lot of lessons learned, and to be specific on the question raised this morning on some of the challenges, I'll just limit it to a few, Madam Speaker. As I've said, we have never been stretched to such an extent, but one, most importantly, is communications. It is very difficult to run operations when you have communication issues. For us, Madam Speaker, when I talk about communication, one is the infrastructure on communication itself. When Devo Peak in Taveuni is down, most of rural Fiji, Lau, Lomai, Viti, Bonoleu is down as well. So it's about looking at contingencies now, because there is an over-reliance on TFL and Vodafone facilities for Fiji, particularly. And of course, in communications as well, the equipments that the agencies use, all agencies have different sets of equipment. And this again becomes a challenge. And most importantly, maybe just that one on communications and information flow, is the management of information as well. Information needs to be again collated, analyzed, and then used again for future activities and strategizing. That was another big problem as well. Secondly, Madam Speaker, was on infrastructure. This is a big issue, particularly in terms of air passage, sea passage, and land passage. That is the responsibility of the disaster controller in the event of any disaster. And for us, our airstrips, our airfields, airports, likewise our jetties and ports, and the roads, they were affected as well. And of course, that took a bit of time. But when your air, land, and sea passage is affected, it of course affects how you respond, particularly in a timely manner as well. So I will not dwell long on that as well. And then the different agencies, Madam Speaker, we appreciate the work done by all the agencies, and I take this opportunity to thank all the agencies for their efforts. But it is a challenge in its own, because agencies are responsible or answerable to their donors, their financiers. And I've talked about information management. The Disaster Act, Section 33, if I remember correctly, specifies that all the coordination efforts must be done through the structure at the district level and, of course, to the divisional and the national level. But in some instances, it does not happen, and that becomes a challenge, particularly when working with all the different agencies, non-government organizations, civil society organizations. We have our bilateral partners, we have faith-based organizations, and we have our own communities, the private sector. All these agencies are coming together, and that becomes a huge task as well. Our capability, Madam Speaker, and capacity within, for us to be effective, you need to have the capabilities. Fiji is a diverse environment. If you look at the Lau group, certain characteristic for that environment alone. If you look at Lomai Viti, Honolulu, including Taveuni, and of course coastal Tailevu, and then into Ra, built-up areas, isolated rural communities, settlements, different environment, different characteristics, and you need to have the capabilities to respond effectively to this as well. This becomes a challenge for the planners, and of course that is something that we will need to consider seriously. And capacity as well, Madam Speaker. I feel sorry for the young DOs and the provincial administrators. In small disasters, they can ride on the experience of the commissioners. But in this instance, they have to run their own little operations as well. And some of, they are probably trained for office work, but not for huge operations as such. So again, that's a challenge on its own as well. Attitude of the community and awareness. Again, this is another issue, Madam Speaker. We take for granted that, oh, it's just another cyclone. The level of preparedness, and of course, even the edge, we unfortunately lost a few lives because of laxity or the attitude issues, Madam Speaker, and this is where our collective responsibility probably needs to be taken into consideration. And of course, I think I've talked about resources and infrastructure, but maybe, Madam Speaker, in terms of timeliness, delivering on time, I've talked about the characteristic. I think it's the air capacity as well that needs to be looked into. Probably I'll just limit it to those, Madam Speaker, unless there are any further questions from the honourable members of the House. Thank you.
Thank you. I give the floor to the Honourable Karavaki.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. A supplementary question to the Honourable Minister, and I thank the Honourable Minister for a very comprehensive explanation. Given, Madam Speaker, the fact that the cost for any national disaster like this will be provided from the annual budgetary allocation. I'm saying this because of Section 16, Madam Speaker, of the Natural Disaster Management Act. And the fact also, Madam Speaker, that the Council is the one who will be responsible for preparing the budget and referring it to the government for meeting the cost. Whether the cost was adequately met from the national budgetary allocation this year. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Minister.
Madam Speaker, cost is not an issue, but more on what I have explained previously. Honourable Whip from the other side of the House would know that it's normal government practice during the event of any disasters. We create what we call IDAs, and that is to run the operations, and then government will then, based on the assessments, based on the reports, then we'll look at specific allocations. So we have the adequate funds to run the operations, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. I give the floor to the Honourable Ratiso Tikudal.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. We were amazed about the exceptional speed that Australia and New Zealand did to arrive in matters of hours to help our country from the disaster. When in discussion with them, the reason why they are so fast in reaching our shores because there are bulk storages of relief available in their stockyard. So would the government of Fiji think of that same line too? Now, sooner or later, all these hurricanes and cyclones will be challenging us. So we're grateful if authorities put aside where bulk store also could be left on the ready to attend to cyclone as such. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Minister.
Madam Speaker, a very relevant question. It addresses our issue also of proactiveness and preparedness. Definitely, we would love to forward-base preposition stores. For us, let me assure the honourable members of the House that after 2012 events, we have started prepositioning, but on a very limited scale. We are just using 20-foot containers for that purpose, one on each divisional commissioner. But definitely, storage, it's a logistic issue, Madam Speaker, and that is something that the planners seriously discussed during the conduct of these operations, because in logistics, how far do you push and when do you pull? And for us, unfortunately, we cannot push even to the islands because there's no storage facility in the islands. probably this is something that will be picked up in the lessons learned. But as I've assured the honourable member, there is very limited storage facility right now. 120-foot container, just the basic stores, and included in that is one tin boat and one 5-horsepower outboard motor, so that if there is flooding or whatever, they can use it just to, because our people used to swim and put their lives at risk as well in previous disasters. We will build on that slowly, and of course, there are some stores that probably it is not our intention to keep those stores, but if it's not going to be utilized, then maybe this will build up the stock for the next one.
Thank you. And I give the floor to the Honorable Van Dijk.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. This question is in relation to my visit to Ovalau. The question is, can the Minister inform or prepare an proper information, properly understood by the people in the village for the cyclone approaching Fiji in future?
Thank you,
Thank you.
Honorable Minister.
Madam Speaker, the simple question is yes. Definitely that has been discussed with our Met Office to simplify the messages, and of course we will work with the disaster communities, disaster committees within the communities to look at addressing that issue. But definitely it's something that will be done in future disasters, and hopefully it will be in the vernaculars as well. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you.